£800. If you think 800 quid is a lot of money and you're watching this, you need to get out of sales. Become a social worker. Set up a charity. Open a food bank. But don't be a business, because it's not a lot of money. £1,000 in loan, £5,000 in loan. The UK economy is 12 trillion.
Cool. No, I like that. Yeah, we're going to be aligned with that.
All right.
Right, I'll clap us in, and we'll jump straight into it. Yeah.
You want me to look? Where do you want me to look? At you?
Either or. I tend to kind of do both.
I'll flick to the camera when I want to make a point.
Yeah. That's it.
Fine.
Right, cool. How's this? It's the money shot, mate. Yeah, it's got to be on point.
Looks good. It's good. I like your hair.
Oh, my wife don't. Welcome back to another episode of Rec Talk. I'm on the road today, and all will be explained shortly. But I'm your host, Nitin Sharma, the founder and CEO of RecTools.io. RecTools is the only global online directory of all recruitment suppliers. So if you supply into the recruitment industry and you want more eyes on your product and you want a targeted audience of people to see your products and services, get onto RecTools.io and claim your page for free, and then you can look at the subscription models in the future and we can talk about those. If you're in recruitment and you're running a recruitment desk and you want to try out some new tools, you want to test out some AI features, you want to test out an X-ray search that we've created, you want to post some jobs for free, go to RecTools.io. It's all free to access for anybody who works in recruitment, whether you're talent acquisition, a solo recruiter, or you work for a big corporate. So, today's episode is about sales versus marketing, that tale as old as time, right? What seems to have kind of happened, certainly in the last decade, is that we've ushered in a new age of technology and information. And this information age and technology age that we're in has certainly shifted focus from sales and the importance behind sales to marketing, in my opinion. But I think what happened as a result of that was a slight byproduct, which was this increase in consumer awareness. And that consumer awareness, I think, has actually impacted how good salespeople sell and how people make buying decisions. So to debate that with me today, I am really pleased to announce, I'm in his studio today, on the road in Bournemouth. My guest today, Benjamin Denny, the UK's most hated salesperson, which I know ain't true, but...
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you for hosting. Thank you for hosting. This is great venue.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, we like it. Yeah.
No, this is brilliant. Look, so have I said anything out of turn there? In the, I mean, I firmly believe it is no longer sales versus marketing.
Okay.
It is not sales and marketing.
Yeah.
I firmly believe now in the B2B space, and certainly in recruitment, sales is a function of an overarching marketing department. And the reason I think that is because the way that we interact with our target customer, be it a client or a candidate, has changed. And it's no longer about convincing somebody, in essence, to go with option A over option B. And it's more about providing the right solution, not square peg round hole.
Okay. Well, I'm slightly differ. I think marketing is what you do to get someone to come to you. Selling is what you do once they're in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they are both extremely important skill sets. I think a great marketer drives people and opportunities to you. But those opportunities are wasted if you have salespeople that don't know what they're doing. And I know recruitment because I started in recruitment, and recruiters can't sell.
No.
They can't sell. And the problem with the recruitment model is they've educated their prospect to treat them like shit as well. So forget candidates, just the companies you sell to.
Mm-hmm.
They've educated them to do everything up front for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, do all the search, do all the interview, everything up front for free. And then if we place them, we get paid. Now, not all recruiters do that. Some are able to get a retainer fee, or they're able to get paid up front. And if some are able to do that, why can't all of them? And it's because they've so educated the market that we do this all for free. Or some will say, oh, well, we don't do it. We don't pay more than 10%. And so it's not hard to get money off of someone, but it is hard to get your fees. You should be charging 25, 30%. I worked with a recruitment agency that lost a deal because they were so worried about what to charge that the CEO said you're not charging enough, and that scares me. Yeah? Going in low,
nuts.
negotiating fees doesn't actually make you a good salesman. If I'm the CEO of a company and I want to hire someone to find me good people, and the first thing you do is drop your pants or discount to win my business, I'm actually deeply going to be, I don't know if I want to hire you. That's you can't even get, no. So how are you going to find me good people if this is your approach? If this is how you're dealing with me, the person who's giving you money, how are you going to be dealing with the candidates? What sort of candidates are you going to be attracting? How are you going to be getting them on board?
The ones that answer the phone and say yes to everything, right? That's it. This is the fundamental issue that I see. I mean, look, in recent months and certainly recent years, there's been a big shift to wanting to work to a retained model in the recruitment industry. I think a lot of them have realised, a lot of good recruiters have realised, shit, I need to do something different. This is not sustainable. And the ones that are really sort of flourishing at the minute are inch wide, mile deep in a particular specialism. They know their market. They've created a brand or identity around who they are or what they offer as a specialist in that field.
Yes.
To both candidates and clients, right?
Yeah.
But to me, that all speaks into marketing language, not sales, because fundamentally, you, as you said, to get them in front of you in the first place, that's all marketing activity, right?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, some marketing people out there completely disagree with my sort of analysis of where we are in the recruitment space, right? There's marketing people that I argue with all the time about where their job stops and where the recruiter's job starts and that kind of thing. But I think we've got to acknowledge that actually even the best salespeople in the world aren't going to win every deal.
No.
But
good salespeople don't win every deal. That's the whole purpose of being good, because you're able to weed out those that can't buy from you early. A good salesman disqualifies.
yeah,
They don't close, and I get that. Closing is a made-up term. People say, well, did you close the deal? Well, no, I disqualified them out because I can't buy. Oh, well, that's not very good. No, actually, that's a very good outcome. My job is to get rid of people that can't. But do you know how many people approach you and say, we're interested in what you have? Well, can you help us? Well, we need the... And you go along with this whole charade, get right to and discover they can't make a decision. Or they don't have budget. Or a decision won't be made until next year. And you think that's good, and then you say, oh, I lost the deal. And you didn't lose the deal. You never had anything in the first place.
it's language, isn't it? It's so
Language.
key. Yeah.
We live in the culture wars. Language is what dominates everything.
Yeah.
And if you're a good salesman, you're a good wordsmith. And language is fundamentally important. And marketing, again, I agree with you. You have to have good marketing. We now live in a world full of so much noise.
Yeah.
Everybody's out there screaming, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And you've got to get that right. But it's also how you perform when you get in front of people is also going to distinguish you. So I was talking to a recruiter the other day, and he wants to approach candidates, and he was telling me the struggles it is to get people, to even want to consider maybe looking. And I said, well, what are you phoning up saying? And he was phoning up and basically saying what most salespeople do, trying to sell in the job, sell in the role. And I said, well, that's why it's wrong.
Yeah, you jump straight to the sell rather than
Yeah, and I go, if it was me doing recruitment, I'd be phoning up and telling of the skill set, and this is what people don't get. I'd be talking about what my client needs fixing, and then saying, but you're probably going to tell me you don't fix that. No, that's what I do now. Yes, but you're not looking for another job, though, or you wouldn't consider another one. You can change the dialogue. How you talk to people changes how they react. Rather than selling in the job, say, no, this is what my client needs fixing. But you don't do that, do you? No, that's what I do all day, every day. Now they're going to be more interested. So it's flipping how you communicate with people. But it's...
Do you think it could... Look, I mean, I've been in sales my whole life, just like yourself, right? I've always had the approach that sales is it's a psychology. It's not a process. It's not a transaction. The sell is the psychology of getting into the nitty-gritty, finding something to, like a pain point, what we call them now, but used to be the threads and pull the thread and it all comes. Yeah, it all changes, but it's always the same, right?
Language.
Yeah, language.
Changes.
And like, I just feel like the world we're in today seems to have either simplified sales to the point of pointlessness or has missed the point completely. And what I mean by that is, and I've got, there's some really good SDRs and stuff like that, but when you have a tech team that have an SDR team, whose sole responsibility is to dial the phone as many fucking times as you can, get hold of as many people as you can, and through a series of asking some sort of qualifying questions, book an appointment. you're not accounting for the fact that there will be some people that say, yeah, go on then. Yeah, I'll take that appointment on that day, knowing that they're not turning up and they're not going to attend that Zoom call,
Yeah.
knowing that they don't want to have that demo. But the only way that they can get you off the phone is to agree because you've been really, you kind of cornered them in, right?
Yeah.
And that's not sales. To me, that's not sales.
No, that's not selling. So prospecting isn't selling anyway. We've got to get that clarified.
Fair point, yeah.
Prospecting is trying to get in front of it. It's another form of marketing. Rather than a flashy board or a digital campaign, you're literally phoning up someone and advertising yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. So prospecting isn't selling. But you're right, most people don't know why they're prospecting or what the purpose is. Most people just get in front of someone.
Yeah.
So whenever you're designing or creating a sales team, you need to ask yourself, what behavior are we going to measure? And what behavior is going to encourage them to do a good job? Now, if you measure things that encourage poor behavior, you're going to get shitty outcomes. So if you measure talk time, what are you going to encourage? Think about it. Someone's measured on, you must have 180 minutes a day talk time. What behavior is that going to encourage? It's going to encourage long, drawn-out conversations with people that can't buy because they need to hit that metric. The next metric they measure is dials made. Again, dials. Why measure dials? You can make 100 dials and get through to no one. That doesn't make you any good. I'd rather you make 10 dials and get through to 5 people.
Yeah.
And have 5 conversations. So they measure dials. It's a vanity. You must make at least 100 dials a day. No, it's because, again, poor man. What does it encourage? Phoning the talking clock. Phoning people you know won't answer.
Yeah.
Yeah? Just to hit the metric. Then they say, okay, appointment set. Again, it's the quality of the appointment. It's not hard to talk your way into someone's diary. Salespeople are very good at talking their way into someone's diary. And just because someone says they're going to be there, doesn't mean they're going to be there. And you know most of the time. You listen to a call and you can say, why are they meeting? Other than the fact that you wouldn't let go, why are they meeting? And
this is it, isn't it? Yeah.
And this is why people hate salespeople. And why they hate recruiters. And recruiters that they just phone up and they just beg with people. Let us come and see you. I guarantee when you see what we do, you're going to be really impressed. Give us a shot. Now, don't get me wrong. If you beg enough people and you get in front of a handful of people, someone may buy. But would you hire, I always use it, would you hire a lawyer? Would you say, why are you so good? Why do you win trials? I do a lot of them. The more trials you do, the more you win.
It's
it's
a
the numbers game. So you mean there's no advocacy skill? There's no. I look good in a wig. Juries like me too. So it's my personality. It's how I look at a wig.
We're in the right place, right time. Yeah.
Sales is the only profession where doing as much as you can and throwing as much shit at the wall is constituted as tenacious percent. It's bad. It's poor. You cannot be in control of that. And that's what it always comes down to. Most salespeople don't control the sale or the process. So SDRs, particularly for SaaS companies, get in front of anybody. And then they're not even setting up actual meetings. Can we have 15 minutes to dive deeper into our product? It's another marketing vomit session, and it's I don't
just kicking the can down the road, or like just chucking the ball to another department.
Yeah,
right? And then sitting there and be like, "Well, we did our part.
We did our part.
Yeah, we passed on 100 demos.
Yeah.
Now, if they didn't effectively demo the product and sell it, then that's out of our hands.
And then you create this friction. The SDRs blame the account managers.
Yeah.
They say, "Well, they can't close." The account managers say, "They're sending us shit leads."
Yeah.
And then management say, "Just do more."
Yeah. Just do more.
Just do more. Just do more. Just do more.
Yeah.
Just do more. And like I say, you wouldn't hire a room full of lawyers who were programmed to pay, or surgeons. Why do your patients not die? I do a lot of these.
Yeah.
Statistically, I'm going to have a pretty good record, right? I do 100 eye operations.
Yeah. You did 100 triple heart bypasses that with like a 60% success rate.
Yeah.
40% died, but whatever.
Well, that wasn't my fault. They were going to die anyway.
You're just negative.
You
just look at the wrong
when no one dies,
you
you get all the praise. When someone dies, well, it was going to happen.
It was marketing's fault.
Yeah, and that's what sales is like, and we have the nerve to call it a profession. And I fight that every day. That's what I work with people. In fact, no, you can control this. Just like a lawyer and a surgeon, they're in total control of that process. They know exactly what question to ask. They're going to know why they're going to ask it. They know when to challenge evidence, when not to challenge evidence. If something happens unexpected, their training kicks in and allows them to deal with it in the moment rather than being caught like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Salespeople don't do that. To become a professional salesman, you need 3 days product knowledge, a new suit, a CRM system, and you are one. Whereas a lawyer, 5 years, a doctor, 7 years, study, in my own time, with my own money. Don't get that in sales. We're carpetbaggers, most of us.
But it's such a shame because actually it's kind of take the sales element out. if you're doing a good job, you're providing a solution or a service that adds value, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I worked in retail banking before recruitment.
Yeah.
I would actively tell my cashiers to seek out candidates, language, sort of customers that were coming in who had excessively high overdrafts and or high credit card balances,
Yeah.
so that I could offer them the solution of a loan. I was incentivized to sell the loan, of course
Yeah.
I was, because I was a salesperson.
Yes.
But that wasn't my primary objective. My primary objective, because if you've got 100 grand in the bank, you ain't taking a loan out, right? Like, it's sort of the primary objective was, listen, I can help you with this by providing you this solution.
Yeah.
And I think within recruitment, again, you've got leaders that built a desk and built a business and built a brand and a name during a time where jobs were aplenty, candidates were aplenty, and it was just a case of, if you do more of this, you
Yes.
earn more money. This
Yeah.
is so simple.
Yeah.
And now they're in this information age and this digital age, and they don't know what the fuck to do with themselves, because their answer is just dial the phone more. Well,
Yeah.
no one's answering the phone. Exactly. So if you dial more people will answer.
Yeah.
That's fucking dumb. Like, invest in your marketing outreach. Invest in your consultants to improve their branding. Yeah, there's businesses out there like Hoxo who built an entire business around personal branding and getting consultants to use their LinkedIn better.
Yeah.
And the Hoxo aren't the only ones doing that, right? But the point is, there are better ways to do it. But for some reason in the recruitment industry, we just don't seem to want to let go of that salesman mentality.
Well, because there's an arrogance almost. I mean, I remember working in it, and they seem to think they're pretty good. There is this inbuilt arrogance, and a lot of salespeople have this inbuilt arrogance.
I think you need it to an extent, right?
You
to
need
be
a
good.
certain element, but humility is probably your greatest strength. And what they don't realize is, again, I hate the phrase recruitment consultants. If you spend any time with them, do they do any actual consulting? I met one recruitment company, I won't name who they were, but they were upfront. They said, Benjamin, we do 70 million a year. And he goes, can I be upfront with you? All we do is shift paper from there to there. That's it. We just shuffle paper. That's it. People pay us because we're the middleman. And that's all we really do. There's no consulting. Most recruitment consultants are fresh out of school. What could you possibly give to a managing director who's been running a business for 25? How are you going to consult with this guy and help him employ better?
I think you can utilize elements of what you do, right? All right, so you're let's say an optometrist recruiter. That's what you specialize in. You've got inside market knowledge now. If you use it correctly, right? So if you're going, okay, we have an online registration form.
Yeah.
Candidates go on to register with us so that we would find them work. While in that process, we shoot them up a pop-up that asks about salary motivators or work from home motivators or something industry specific.
Yeah.
And we do that in the course of a month. We register over 3,000 candidates. And so we've got a pretty good bit of market research there. Let me consult with you on, listen, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, you're saying that you're paying this much in this region for this. Our data says that that's just not enough. Based on that's consulting, right? But that's working with your marketing and your
I
kind
think
of...
consulting goes even further. For instance, taking on the job brief, right?
Yeah.
You see how this is typically done. They go in and they're looking for what are the skills, what are the experience, skills, experience, what are the sort of results of a candidate you'd be wanting. So they go after what I would say are lag indicators. Skills, experience, and result. They tell you nothing about the person's future performance.
Yeah.
So if I was advising an MD, one of the first questions I'd say, so you want to hire a finance director? Yeah. I get all the skills, I get it. But let me ask you a blunt question. You've hired finance directors in the past that haven't worked out. Right. So what habits make a successful finance director? And then look at, I don't. That's a good, but yeah. Because people are creatures of habit. I want to recruit for habit and behavior. I'm not interested in your skill set. Skill set is important, but it only tells me you can do a job, but it doesn't tell me how you're going to perform in this job. But habits and behaviors. So it's the same with salespeople. What habits and behaviors make someone successful? How can you predict success in a role if you're only going on skills, experience, and results? Cognitive ability. What cognitive ability do you need to be good?
That's all the more important today as well, given
Yes.
the fact that there is so much new tech in the market that even the older, more established, experienced recruiters are now having to learn and relearn how to do this job again.
Yeah.
Because prospects are a lot more wiser, candidates are a lot more wiser. You can't just ring up a candidate now and be like, "Hey Benjamin, where else are you interviewing?" I ask because I care.
Yeah.
No, you ask because you want to.
You want to know.
You want to know so you can obstruct those processes.
Yeah.
I know that now because I've watched plenty of YouTube and TikTok videos that tell me that that's what you fuckers do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's that kind of thing of like, So your past performance really doesn't matter anymore.
No.
How are you selling in 2024? How are you making a difference today, knowing that we're in a market now where branding is important, understanding of marketing outreach is important, understanding the journey of your prospect is important, and therefore and the knowledge gap and how they buy, their buyer behaviors, everything's changed.
Yeah.
It ain't what it was even 5 years ago. It ain't what it was, right?
No, it's very different. You have to provide value in the content that you produce.
Yeah.
And you have to. The key is you need other people to start looking and referring to you as the expert or the leader.
Yeah.
Now, if you go out and tell people you're an expert or a leader, no one will believe you.
No.
You have to create it. And the way you create it is, as you say, you've got to create content. You've got to create branding and marketing that will drive people to say, I've been reading your material for a while now. I feel you get our industry. I feel you get our market. I'd be interested in perhaps having a conversation. That takes a lot of effort, a lot of work to do that. And the problem is the people that should be doing it aren't doing it, and then it's left to the junior people to scramble around.
Just haven't got the expertise.
They don't
yet.
have the expertise. They don't have the kudos, the credibility, the experience to come across intelligently enough,
credible enough as
or
well,
credible
right?
enough.
Yeah.
And so they're missing a trick. You need the more sage people saying, I'm going to create the content that drives people to us. I'm going to teach my younger people how to do this.
But also you can apply things that you knew back then to the new age, right? You said something on our first podcast that we did about sort of qualifying out rather than, because again, and that stuck with me because, absolutely, as salespeople, we're taught to cast the net far and wide, catch us everything you can, and then chuck away the shit we don't want, right? And it's almost like, that's a stupid way of doing it. Why don't we
very stupid way.
Initially cast out what we don't want, right?
Yeah.
The same thing applies with the content then. Because I spoke to somebody that I'm doing a bit of business mentoring with at the minute, and he was like, I want to be more vocal on things like LinkedIn, right? But I keep being told by my business partner, I wouldn't say that because, that's going to annoy people. And I'll use that exact analogy. Do you really want to be doing business with people that you're not actually aligned with fundamentally, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
So by you announcing to your platform who you are and what you're really about, if there are people that are like, do you know what, I would have done business with you, Benjamin, but I didn't like the last 5 posts that you put out, I don't want to know. Well, I'm probably done you a favour by qualifying myself out of your sales process.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to do business with everybody.
My whole approach and personality is Marmite. You either like it or you hate it. And I know that. And I know there are more reasons not to give me money than there are to give me money. So I don't care about people that say, I don't like it, it wouldn't work. It would work, you just don't want to do it. And it's easy to say, well, he's a bit of a dick or a moron. It's fine. I don't care. Right? But how is it that I've done so well and had so many clients that all swear by what I teach? And a lot of them have said, at first I didn't like you, but I'm not hiring you to be a friend.
No.
I'm hiring you to help me fix a problem. And you don't
and to tell me the shit that no one else around me is telling me.
And that's my job, is to hold up the ugly mirror and say, this is why you're fucking failing. And I don't care if you like me or not. Yeah? Being liked is not necessary to sell. People will buy in spite of you.
Yeah.
Yeah? But there's a difference between trying to be liked and being liked.
Yeah.
And often, I don't go out of my way to be liked, but people do eventually like me. So I don't try. But if you're trying to be liked, you fall into the trap of doing stuff for free, over-servicing, discounting, promising things that you can't deliver because you want them to like you.
Yeah.
Poor way. It's not a skill. That is not a skill. And I don't think people realize that selling is an actual skill. They say it is, but they pay lip service. Because when you ask them, why did that deal not come in, they're never able to really tell you what they did wrong.
Yeah, very, very few recruiters, and from experience I can say this, will go through a process and be able to pinpoint, this is the point where it started to go off rail, and this is the point where I lost.
This is where I screwed up.
This is where I lost the deal.
This is where I didn't get it right. That was the moment where it went wrong. Whereas if, again, we go back to other professions, surgeon or lawyer, if you lost a trial that objectively everyone said you should have won, and then they look back what you did and they find there was a piece of evidence you didn't challenge. Why did you not? Then you could say you were negligent.
Yeah.
You should have done that. Same with the surgeon. Why did the patient die? They do an autopsy.
Yeah.
You left a scalpel. That shouldn't be there. You're guilty. But if they do an autopsy and they can find no fault, you did everything right, the patient died, well, that's just the way it is. Sometimes it happens. But salespeople never do a post-mortem. When they win, they get all the praise. When they lose, it's
always
wrong
someone else's
timing,
fault.
budget
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
my
always
fault,
someone
nothing
else's
to do
fault.
with
Yeah,
me. Or how is it we got all the way to final pitch only to discover that they didn't have enough money?
Yeah.
How did we get this far? Oh, well, they never told us. Well, did you ask? Well, yeah. Well, no, you can't have asked because if we'd known, we wouldn't have got. Oh, well, no, it's a bit rude to talk about. And all the beliefs and the habits and the behaviours that make them shitty come out.
Why do you think we are afraid to kind of ask for the reason no? Do you know what I mean? I remember this specifically. The guy, he was starting up this new recruitment marketing company, blah blah blah, and we're on a call, we're chatting away, and he was like, yeah, I pitched to 2 people and I thought I was going to win the business, but we didn't. So we start again. I was like, have you reached out and asked them why? No. Why not? How are you supposed to be better? How do you know that there's not something that you could have done? I firmly believe that there's only one of 2 reasons as to why somebody says no to you. It's cash or creative, right? Either they don't see the value in the financials that you've put in front of them, or creatively you are not aligned, right? They don't see you as a value, or they don't see what you're going to do for them. But how do you know what to amend? Because your pricing could be completely off, or it could be that actually your proposition's off.
Yeah. Or it could be more simple. They didn't feel you understood them, which is the number one. Most salespeople are useless at understanding their prospect.
Yeah.
And the reason why sales sucks is because there's no barrier to entry. Sales appeals. Basically, you go into sales because you got a university degree that's useless. Yeah. What do you do?
Couldn't get another job.
You couldn't get another job. What do? You get a job in sales. No one teaches you how to sell. No one teaches you as a communication skill. No one gives you questioning ability. No one teaches you the psychology behind it. They just say, learn the product, go out there, get in front of enough people, and you'll get there. And you watch other people do that, and you go, well, yeah, I can do this.
And if you're stubborn and stupid enough, you're still in sales 10 years later.
You're like a washing machine. Washing machines work hard, but they're static and they go around in circles. It's still a useful thing, but it's quite a pointless existence. And salespeople are like that. You get the few who master it. A lot of the best salespeople I've met, when you ask them, it's quite interesting. Why are you good? A lot of them say, I don't know. But I know if I do certain things, I know this, I know this, I know that. And that's what got me into sales training was, why don't we figure out why something works and then just constantly do it? Just like you would anything. Why does doing this, why does X and Y always give this outcome?
Yeah.
Now I know why. We should always do X and Y rather than, as you say, going back for the post, why didn't we win the business?
What happened? Yeah.
What happened? You were too expensive. Okay. Now you go, okay, so A, how did we not know that we were too expensive? How did we not know that they couldn't afford us? Where did we go wrong when it came to the conversation around money?
Yeah, what could I have done differently?
Or let's go one step further. I don't think we're expensive. So the question is if we're not expensive, how did we fail to get them to see the value in what we do? Either way, it's your fault. You can't blame the prospect for not buying from you.
Yeah. How do you think now the world that we're heading into, automation and technology and AI obviously is going to impact the average salesperson?
AI is going to eliminate most SDR roles. And what it's going to do is, remember I said there's no barrier to entry? Actually, there's going to be a barrier to entry soon. Because AI sounds better than most humans on the phone.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to be able to sound as good, if not better, than a bit of AI.
Yeah,
now,
you have a benchmark to hit.
Now, but people say, well, it sounds, as in the actual audible sound, it sounds a little starchy. No, I'm not interested in the starchiness. Listen to how it's structuring its conversation. The AI is structuring conversations better than you.
Yeah.
It asks better. Yes, it sounds a bit clunky. That'll be gone.
Yeah.
The clunkiness will be gone. So don't worry about, listen to how it's questioning. Listening to how it's structured. It is better.
Yeah.
It's able to respond with a better question in real time than you.
And that's the key, isn't it?
And that is what's going to raise it. Suddenly, you're going to have to.
And do you know what? It's not scared to ask why.
No.
If you say no, I'm not interested in that. It's not going to be afraid to ask for the feedback.
Yeah.
In the recruitment set, because I said this on my last video, is that the biggest thing that candidates are frustrated with in the recruitment industry right now is the lack of feedback that recruiters give. And there's a plethora of excuses, but usually the top 2 are, I don't have the time to go back to everybody and reject them, or I feel uncomfortable. Do you know who doesn't feel uncomfortable and has the time? AI.
No.
it's going to it's going to message you back, and it's going to ring you back and say, "Sorry, Benjamin, you weren't selected for this process. Please keep in touch. We'd like to see if we can help you in the future," and then move on to the next call because it doesn't give a shit.
I've said for years, I teach people how to prospect, and I teach them a structure, and the structure never changes. And you get really good at it. You get really good at the questions, and then after a while, I know anything that a prospect can say to me because it's a finite universe. If you sell whatever you sell, there's only so much a prospect can ever say to you.
Yeah.
So even as a human, you can figure that. So if they say X, I've got 3 or 4 different possible responses depending on how it's done. And then if I give a response, I know they're probably going to say X or Y. If they say, so I can map that out as a human. AI can do that automatically.
Infinitely.
Infinite. And I've always said, if you can get a robot to do what I teach, it would be brilliant. Because it has no emotions, it has no highs, no lows.
Yeah.
No emotional attachment to the outcome. 24/7, no girlfriend problems, boyfriend problems, none of this shit. It'll just follow the algorithm, and it'll get better and better and better. So yes, AI won't eliminate all cold calling roles, but I think 90% of them will go.
I think it'll get rid of transactional sales, which is I think where the problem lies. When people think sales is shit and people in sales are shit, if you're a transactional salesperson, if you're scanning an item and putting it in the bag, if you're asking me, I'm going to ask you 5 qualifying questions, going to move on. You know, you're going to be replaced by AI. But in exactly the same way, and you got to be held to account for this, if you're the kind of recruiter or salesperson who watches a Benjamin Denny video on YouTube and decides, I'm going to start doing this, and starts asking your prospects for 30 seconds, or shall I drown my woman in a
cold call, do you want to
do you know what I mean? It's just like, right, great. You know how to watch a video and regurgitate it, but do you know why you're doing what you're doing? And do you know how to capitalize on that 30 seconds?
And that is it. So I get that, as you can see, if you're on LinkedIn, so many people now sort of copy the structure that I've taught. And they've watched it on videos, and they've watched other people do it. And AI is the same, but the difference with AI is it's more intuitive. It understands why we're doing what we're doing, and then it will get better. Right now, just copying and imitating isn't enough.
No.
And most salespeople imitate and copy. You need to think quick. Thinking fast on your feet is a real skill. Yeah. And the best salespeople have the ability to think quickly, have the ability to... They use humor appropriately. I literally, before you came here today, I actually cancelled a sales meeting I had today. I was cold calling last week purely for content. I was running a game, trying to get 10 no's in a row. 5th conversation, got a meeting.
No.
And I don't want the meeting. I'm not looking for a client. I don't want it. So I set the appointment with the guy, but I phoned him up this morning, and I've recorded the call, so I'll put it online. And I just said, look, I'm just phoning up to let you know. Actually, I'm phoning up to cancel the meeting. He goes, oh, because I was just talking to my business colleague about you this morning. I said, you left an amazing impact on me. And we carried on talking. He tried to talk me back into the meeting. And I said, but you don't need me. I don't think you need me. I'm not looking to go. So we ended it there. And there was just one point. He goes, you really made me laugh. He goes, because he said something like, well, I suppose we could do with sharpening up our sales skills. And I said, it's funny you say that because I'm known as the pencil sharpener. And it's AI can do that.
Yeah.
It'll get there. But the average salesperson can't come back. Somebody throws something at you completely left field. Well, tell me, why should I use you? And they freeze.
Yeah.
Because emotion, suddenly they're feeling it. They get hot under. AI doesn't have that feeling. Whereas a good salesman learns how to be AI. I don't have fear. If someone says, why should I use you? Okay, it's a fair question. Yeah. Can I be blunt with you? Yeah. I get the feeling that it doesn't matter what I say here. You're never going to buy from me.
That's the big difference, isn't it? It's taking the prospect off the pedestal.
Yes.
And I used to have this all the time with my recruiters. Was sort of like, just stop letting clients pull you by the plonker, right? Yeah. Sitting there and getting excited. Oh, this HR, I've just come off the phone to talent acquisition at this big business, right? What do they say? Well, they said if you stop sending CVs to the line managers, I'll put you on the PSL. I was like, did you not just laugh at them and say, well, why would you do that? Yeah. Like, what's the think about that whole thing? And they're like, well, yeah, but like we do want to be on the PSL, don't we? I was like, no, absolutely we don't. Like, we don't want
it's
to.
It's just the waiting room.
That's it. Yeah, right, exactly.
The PSL means that preferred supply list. It means sit up, shut up, and wait.
Yeah, stop doing these things, and we'll come to you when we need you.
Stop actually actively looking for jobs.
Right. And
Yeah.
and it was and it just simple things like that because it was sort of like
Because if
come
I
on,
ran, if I was a
guys,
business, I'd stick every recruit on my PSL because it would shut them up.
Yeah.
Everyone phones
Yeah.
out, oh no, actually we're looking for someone to put.
Fantastic.
Send us your stuff. We'll put
sign
you on.
these terms.
Yeah, and then we'll
it
leave it there.
explicitly says if you spec a line, we get the candidate for free.
Yeah.
Oh, did you miss that bit?
Yeah.
Oh, weird that.
That's what I do. I'd put everyone on the PSL because it's the easiest way to shut them up. No, sales, and this is the problem again because you're grown up with certain beliefs. And one of the beliefs is that the person with the money makes the rules.
Because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, in recruitment, I can tell you that was the way.
Yeah.
Right? And then you've got all these recruiters that are now running their own businesses that could be so successful, but following the same antiquated, stupid rules of their directors because their directors would tell them, if the client puts you on the PSL, that's all you need, and sign whatever terms they send. We used to argue back and be like, we've gone through these terms, you're not getting a 6-month free replacement. Because if by week 6 you haven't sussed out that this candidate's right for you or not, that's not our responsibility after that.
No.
Like, let's be real here.
Who hired them?
Right? What responsibility are you
I
taking
get asked
asking me
that
for a
all the time.
6-month free replacement?
Yeah.
And we would like, and I do this now with I've got like 3 businesses that I'm mentoring at the moment.
Yeah.
And we go through this sort of stuff all the time, and I'm having to spend a lot more time helping them unlearn the traits of when they worked at the big businesses because everything was just taken away from them, and start them kind of in this mentality of like value yourself and value your time. And if you've got a prospect that's trying to get you on their supply list, think about why. Peel the onion back a little bit because actually it might be because they do like your candidate and they're now trying to get you. They don't want to work at your 30% rates and they're trying to get you down.
They're trying to get
The
you
ball's in your court now. Have it in your court.
And the problem with salespeople is,
We just want to do the deal.
and I get, they want to do the deal, and I'm going to be blunt, they're wimps. Most are chicken shit scared of challenging a prospect because they're so attached to I need the deal.
Yeah.
I need this. And if you need it, you will do anything you can to win it. And the one thing you won't do is challenge a prospect. And I look at it all the time. You can't ask that question. Why not? Well, it'll piss them off. First of all, it will piss them off if you ask it badly. So how you ask and do things is so important.
Context is key, yeah.
And context is key. But the other thing is they won't. If you ask it right. But you can't do that. When someone, I've worked with recruiters. They go, so what do you do if someone says, is there if someone leaves in 3 months, what happens? I go, well, what do you say? Well, we have a guaranteed 3. Well, why do you guarantee 3 months? The first question I'd ask them is, well, why do you need a 3-month guarantee?
Why would somebody leave in 3 months?
Why do you need a 3-month
How
guarantee?
often has that happened to you?
Yeah, how often does that happen? When I was helping a recruiter, I got him actually to do it once. And the guy was, well, we've hired in the last 12 months, we've hired 4 different people for this role and they've left.
Okay.
And I said, so this is exactly the question. Okay, can I ask you a really blunt question? So yeah. And they'll say, yeah. I go, are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to punch me in the face. Fine. Okay, this is it. Are you sure you're not the problem?
Yeah.
Because if you've hired 4 people for this role and they keep leaving, what it tells me is the issue isn't the candidates. You're the issue.
The problem still remains.
Let me ask you a question. Then. If you were me, would you want to send you the candidates that we value? Because if I send them to you and you, for whatever reason, piss these guys off and they leave, they're never going to come back.
That reflects
to
on me too, yeah.
It reflects on. So, and you can flip it. And people, you can't say that. They'll throw you. Let them throw you out. Why do you want to work with a loser that can't retain employees? And this is it. But it's money.
Right. We've got the crux of the issue.
We got it. You're so desperate. You're a loser. Yeah. Please, jury, just get my guy off. Please do it off. Just do anything.
Yeah.
Why? Because I need the fee. If it's a no fee trial, please. I swear to God. It's pathetic. But this is what it finally comes down to. They're scared of hearing no, because if they hear a no, then they have to go out and look for more work. They got fuck all in their pipeline. They're shit at prospecting.
Yeah.
They're wimps.
Yeah, there's your issue. That's it.
That's it. It's fundamentally greed. I need the money. I'm not going to do anything to upset it.
It's amazing how many business owners need to do this level of root cause analysis with their team.
Yeah.
Because it's all well and good, but I just don't get it. The pipeline, we've got loads of jobs on. We're not filling anything. Right. So you're not doing well then, are you?
No.
It's there's a saying in recruitment. If you ever speak to a recruitment business owner and ask them how it's going, if they say really busy means they've got loads of jobs on but they're not making any money.
Exactly.
And things are going all right. That usually means our pipeline's a lot lower than I'd like it to be, but we're making money.
Yes.
And things are going all right is the one you want to be. You don't want to be the really busy one.
No.
You don't.
Busy fool.
And but we all seem to want that, right? We get targeted on how many fucking vacancies. How many vacancies you picked up this week? Why?
Why?
Why the fuck does that matter?
It means nothing.
How many did you fill? What's
Yeah.
your fill ratio look like? How much work can you actually have on at any given time and effectively deal with? How many jobs are exclusive? How many have you managed
It's
to
a
retain?
spray and
Yeah.
pray model.
How many are likely to go through to offer? Be really honest with yourself. And that's the thing that salespeople just... we don't do it because I think we're scared of the truth. And we're scared of the
Of
truth
course.
because of that desperation.
The
piece.
truth could be, actually, now you've done your good consulting job, you've made me realise we don't need to fill this role.
Yeah.
I've actually just realised you're right. You've asked such good questions, you've made me
Yeah.
think about what's going on.
I've actually got somebody in the business I could promote to this position.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
And you know what? You're right. I don't need to have it. And oh God! And then your boss goes, "What the fuck did you do? Why did you do that? Why did you talk them out of that job role? You're an idiot!"
Yeah.
And then that's drummed into you from these loser boiler room, Glengarry, Ross
That's it,
Lee,
yeah.
all of this shit.
Yeah. Worked for them 12 years ago. Yeah.
And that is the culture around it. Rather than saying, you know what, our job is to go out and figure out, should we work with these people? Do they need us? And will we provide them the value? And can they convince us this is a job that they need filled? Can they convince us they're willing to pay proper wage for it? Can they convince us that if we send them one of our highly priced candidates, that they're not going to get pissed off within the first 6 months and leave? Am I convinced you're someone I should sell to? Should I recruit for you? Whereas it's the other way around. Please let me recruit for you.
Yeah. Please, Mr.
No,
Client.
I don't
Please.
need you.
Yeah.
You need me. And then salespeople, oh, yeah, but if you
But
go
they
with
don't
that,
have that mentality.
No.
Like, we don't have that mentality.
and then they have the fear, but they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah. So let them.
Let them go somewhere
Make it
else.
someone else's problem then.
Let them, yes. If you want to sign up someone that only wants to pay 15%, and then
Run.
every experience, I know you're watching this, every time you've taken on someone at a discounted rate, they've become the ball ache of a client, haven't they? The cheaper the client, the more they want, the more they expect, the
Facts.
more they piss you off.
Facts.
The more they pay, they leave you to get on with the job.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right.
It is.
Same
It's in
with the-
every
It's the
industry.
same with the mail shot strategy. I used to hate having a mail shot strategy because you could pick up jobs. We had an entire engineering division that used to pick up vacancies on a daily basis. Did we fill any of those vacancies? Very few. Oh, I'm looking for 3 TIG welders, a MIG welder, a CNC operator. Of course you are. You have no idea who the fuck I am. We've never spoken to you before. But you had a mail shot come through and you're like, oh, another agency. Yeah, get me these things. I mean, no one else can find them. Maybe you'll be able to find them. They are not the clients you want to be working with. They're absolutely not the jobs you want to be filling.
Yeah.
Because those jobs are going to take the longest to fill. They're going to be the most fussiest clients. And that's if they fucking pay. Because if it's your own recruitment business, like mine was, and you got to do your own credit control, and there's a lot more time that goes into getting an invoice paid than what it is at the minute where you're sat working in the comfort of somebody else's business.
And it's developing the skill of trying to figure out what are we actually doing?
Yeah.
Why are we actually here? Because filling the role is actually just the medium by which someone gets another problem probably fixed. So your question is, are they hiring someone that they don't want to be smarter than them? Did you ever figure that out? Are you dealing with someone that's a pathological self-esteem loser, and they're actually consciously but not telling you, going out of their way for people that will fail in the role, because their failure in the role somehow supports their position within the organization?
Yeah.
Salespeople, recruiters never dig into this, finding out what are we really here for. I understand you need to fill this role, but what are we actually really doing?
Yeah. Surface level questions. Oh, where's this vacancy come along from? The candidate's leaving. Oh, okay. Do we then follow that up? Why are they leaving?
Why are they leaving?
What have you done to retain
They
them?
found a better opportunity.
How long have they been here for?
Yeah.
You know,
Why do you need to fill the role?
Yeah.
How long? Yeah. If no one was here for a month, and your job is to try to talk them out of filling the role. And if you can't talk them out of doing it, then there is a role.
we have this thing in recruitment, right, where we just seem to assume that everybody else in every other business and every other walk of life leaves their job in a really nice, comfy manner, and everything's utopian, right? They serve their notice in, they're cheered, they're given the gold watch, and off they go. But only in our world is it that I've been underperforming, my boss is on my back, I've been put on a pip, I've decided I'm going to go interview somewhere else and get my offer and have my resignation, get the fuck out of there, right? But for some reason, we never apply that to our own candidates. Because in our mind, no. My accountant can't be like that. But when you then start digging deeper, you're like, hang on a minute, right, so you've pissed everybody off that you work with, and you've maybe took the piss a little bit with time off or holiday or sickness.
Yeah.
There's been a trigger here that's made you think, I need to leave. which is why you're now registering as a candidate.
Yeah.
Because by all intents and purposes, being an accountant for manufacturing company A should be the same as manufacturing
so
company B.
why? Yeah.
So there's something happening.
What's the
right?
motivator?
Now, the more I can find out about that situation, the more I can make the right call.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't seem to do that. In our mind, it's sort of like, no, it's always career progression.
I
I'd
say-
left that job for career progression.
I say,
Fucking hell.
I'm suspicious of salespeople that are looking for jobs. If you've already got a sales job, why are you looking for another job? Now, there will be some legitimate circumstances. Maybe there is a toxic culture. I get that. Or maybe commissions capped and you know you can do better and
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
fine.
There are some legitimate reasons. But a lot of the time, the main reason they're leaving is they know they're going to get sacked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they know they're going to lose their job because they're not performing.
Yeah.
And hiring salespeople is you take the first decent candidate. You interview crap. Then finally someone comes in, they don't dribble, they can string a sentence together, and you say, you know what, he's got some experience, let's give him a shot.
Yeah.
6 months later, what a fucking waste of time.
They're all
They're already looking for another job. It's not hard to get a new job in sales. It's easy to move from job to job in sales. Yeah, and it's poor recruitment practices. It's poor recruiters. The whole thing is just
Yeah, the whole process is fucked, isn't it?
It is.
In reality.
fundamentally flawed. And yeah, if you're really good at selling, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if you're really good at selling, you should be working for yourself anyway. Be 100%. I'm 100% commission. I've been 100% commission for nearly 20 years now. I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
I've been my own boss for 20 years. If you own a company, you're 100% commission because whatever you only get paid if the business
makes
performs.
money, yeah, that's it.
So if you're already worth your weight in gold, if you are sitting right now in your lounge or at home in your bedroom and you're prospecting and getting meetings for an employer, you should be out working for yourself. Find something to sell,
Very true.
100% commission, and do it. But the people that have to have a sales job, they're never going to get very far.
I have a theory that we are now moving out of the decade of the entrepreneur and moving into the decade of the freelancer.
Yeah.
Right? Because since COVID, a lot of kind of Gen X and millennials like ourselves
Yes.
have realized the value is not in the money but in the time. And by creating time to do the fun shit that you want to do, that's where the happiness lies, right? And I've noticed this is happening kind of over like a mass scale, that people are now kind of going, do you know what, if I can work 3 days a week, the whole 4-day work week and that kind of concept, the whole concept of that is great. And I think it's a really good opportunity for salespeople right now who are good at sales to kind of go, do you know what, I'm just going to freelance. I'm going to do a day a week for this company, a day a week for that company, and a day a week for that company.
Yeah.
You're not going to find those jobs on Indeed or LinkedIn jobs. Where you're going to get that is by networking on things like LinkedIn, by creating a brand about yourself, about how good you are and how much you understand a particular industry or sector or the sales process, and by putting yourself out there. And so, I mean, I'll give you an example. I had a chap who I was supporting trying to find a marketing role for. And he had a handful of interviews and he got, right, I've got these 2 job offers. They're in the office 5 days a week. It's crap. Don't really want to do it. I really, really want to carry on this freelancing gig. So I managed to get him a freelancing gig through somebody I knew that was looking for somebody. And I was like, ring those 2 people up who's offered you the jobs and say to them, listen, I've had a change of circumstances. But what I can do for you is a day a week or 2 days a week. And, you know, we'll keep it loose. We'll keep it contractual until you get to a point where you think you do need somebody in-house full-time, 5 days a week. And challenge that kind of mentality and behavior. And he did that. And now he's got exactly that. He's got 3 clients and he's doing 3 days a week.
Well, that's
I
exactly...
think that 3 days a week is more than his full-time wage ever was.
I did it 20 years ago. So I was working for a company doing prospecting. And this company, the boss would go out and he'd get advertising agencies to sign up. He'd bill me out at $2.5-3 grand a month.
Mm-hmm.
I had 4 clients, so he'd be making £12,000 a month off of my labour.
Oh, for you. Yeah.
And it just hit me. Why don't I just go direct to my own advertising agencies and say, I'll tell you what I'll do, and it's exactly what I'll come and work in your office 1 day a week. You can hear me, it'll be transparent, we'll agree. I don't win business, first of all. My job is to put you in front of the people you say you want to be in front of. And if I do that, you pay me my £3 grand a month. I did that for 10 years. Yeah. And I made a very good living out of it. And funny enough is I never left any client, but I get to about a year and I'd say, you know what, I'm bored of selling this and now I'm going to move on.
Oh,
and they were,
as any good salesperson does, right? And it's like, listen, you've had a year where you could have learnt what I was doing, put somebody next to me and have me pass on some shit. You didn't do that.
But the thing is, most people aren't cut out for this. You've got to be a self-motivator, a self-starter. You've got to be a risk taker. You've got to be willing to hit rock bottom because sometimes this will be tough.
Yeah.
Most people, and this is a problem maybe with the younger generation, if you're into the pursuit of pleasure and enjoyment now and not delaying it, then you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of problems. Because delayed gratification, they've done surveys and studies, and I remember seeing when they had these kids and they sat them in front of a piece of chocolate and said, if you wait 15 minutes, you can have 2 bits, and film them. And then they follow that. The kids that waited did much better in life than the ones that said, oh, sod it, I'll just have the gratification now. And this is the thing. If you set up your business, yes, you'll get instant more time to yourself, but you're going to have to delay financial gratification for a while.
Yeah.
And you have to think long term here. And so I think, yes, if you are able to self-motivate, self-start, go out and be your own boss. And you should. And if you're in sales, that should be your desire. But like I said, most people are in sales, not out of choice. It's out of, I needed a job, and then they get stuck.
Yeah.
And let's be honest with this. I say this to everyone. Have you ever seen a job advert for any other role that says wanted ex-salesman? What skill set do salespeople bring outside of sales to the outside? Think about it. Unless you go and retrain as a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or as a teacher, you can never just walk into a role. Well, I was a salesman for 20 years. Great. You're not qualified to do this. Yeah. There's nothing else you can do. And so a lot of people get trapped.
Yeah.
And they're stuck in sales.
Yeah.
And that's their life.
Yeah, and they haven't got the financial means to go and
they
retrain.
don't. And then what I call at least is, at least I just hit the target. At least I didn't miss target. At least. And they operate in a 7 out of 10. And you get through life like that. But they also moan about not earning enough, not having enough money. Or in Glengarry Ross, I need better leads. You don't need better leads. You need to be a better salesman.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And so you can read the epitaph.
Well, have you got any advice for people like that then? Because look, sales can be taught, right? You're a living, breathing example of that.
Yeah, you can.
So
learn
if you are one of these people that sort of like, look, I feel trapped. I can't go and retrain. I'd love to, but I can't afford to. Blah blah blah. But I'm in sales and I hate it because I'm not very good at it.
I think you've got 2 choices. You have to invest in yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Every lawyer, every accountant, every surgeon took out a student loan and spent years of their own time studying and learning their trade. You've never done that. No. So the first thing you need to do is actually, I don't care if it's with me or anything, I don't care. I don't need your money, but I'd like it. Right? So, I don't care. You need to invest in yourself. But you need to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself and say, do I want to be in sales? And then you quit your job and go 100% commission.
Yeah. And
you phone up a company and say, I tell you what, I'm willing to come and work for you. As you said, I'll sell in your product. You don't have to pay me. We just agree a commission that I can live on. And you do that. And if you can't do that, you're not cut out for sales.
The thing what people I think miss quite often is 96% of UK businesses are small businesses, SMEs, micro businesses, run by owner managed kind of like small business people.
Yeah.
Who will absolutely jump at the opportunity for someone to go, do you know what? If I drove an extra 50 grand worth of revenue into your business, would you pay me 20 of that? Yes. Would you give me 20 of that? If I gave you 50, you keep the 30, I'll keep the 20.
Yeah.
Can we do business like that? Yeah, we can. Cool. Well, I'm going to commit to doing that for you, but I'm only coming in once a week. Why? Because of the other 2 days a week, I'm doing that for them. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And again, if I'm not paying you anything, it doesn't cost me. As long as what I do is legal, moral, and ethical, do you care how I do it? No. I'll go out, I'll bring you in 50k worth of business over the next 6 months in which you pay me 25% or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
And if you screw up, I don't care, it's cost me nothing. Yeah. But no, do that. And you will do. That's how you create a business. Because the person who you're going to did exactly that. They got up one day and they said, I'm going to set up a business.
Do this myself. Yeah.
So they will do it. But most are chicken shit scared because they're not really salespeople. It's just a place.
They can't actually back themselves.
You're not a. You're an order taker. You're waiting for stuff to come to you. If you're a salesman, get out there and sell.
Mm-hmm.
Sell yourself. If you can't sell yourself, then
yeah. Find a recruiter that can.
Find a recruiter that can. Yes. Find one. Use him.
Yeah, don't use me. I don't want to do recruitment. I don't do it anymore. Well, on the side a little bit. This has been pretty cool.
Oh, I've had fun ranting.
This has been good. Is there anything you've got going on at the minute that you want to plug?
Oh, of course, I'm always.
You've got your platform, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I've launched my new Sales Matrix courses platform. So most people, well, you won't if you watch this, your recruitment, but I've trained people all over the world Last year, people started buying my recordings, and they love them. And people said, "You're going to do more, you're going to do more." So I've created a whole new subscription model platform.
Amazing.
All the boot camps, loads of new content. Sign up, come for a month, leave, come back, stay for 2. There's so much content on there that it's designed to keep you there for at least 2 to 3 months. And invest in yourself. It's not a lot of money. I get people always saying, if you think 400 quid's a lot of money, you shouldn't be in sales.
Yeah.
This is so important.
Yeah.
Money concept. Money concept is also one of the reasons why people fail at selling. They have a terrible concept of money. And also, if you're someone that's a procrastinator and a ditherer in your own life, so you're in sales, but whenever somebody says you want to go out this weekend, I don't know, let me think. How are you ever going to get anyone to make a decision in the sale if you can't make decisions in your own life? So if you're watching this and you know you need to get better, you want to get better, go to the bloody platform. It's not a lot of money and try it. And you know what? If it fails, fine. If it doesn't fail, good. But at least do something. Don't sit there jerking off to Pornhub wishing your life was better.
It's madness, right? How many people, and this is a very much a Gen Z kind of issue, I think, at the minute, is they'll pay 600 quid for a Moncler jacket.
Yeah.
But see, 600 quid for, an all-inclusive holiday to Mallorca is expensive. It's kind of like, we really need to kind of rebalance these priorities here, right?
Yeah.
It's like, £400 to invest in yourself. You're going to bark at, I ain't got that money, My nephews are the same. He won't go and learn to drive, right? It's £40 a lesson, Nick. Yeah, okay. You spunk more than that in the casino every Saturday night.
Yeah. Or down at the pub.
Right, yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, right. And it's like
on Netflix or your gaming channel or whatever it is.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh, this just came through, and it'll be like some sort of gaming thing, and I'm like, how many driving lessons was that worth? Like, you know.
I tell you what, the true story. I actually had another sales trainer contact me, and he said to me, "How is it that you keep feeling expensive online sales training boot camps?" And I said, "I think you just answered your own question." I said, because these at the time I was charging £800 for a live boot camp, and I had like 20 odd people on them. And I said, "You've answered your own question. If you, as a sales trainer, think £800 is a lot of money, you shouldn't be in sales training. No. It's not a lot of money. No. £800. If you think 800 quid is a lot of money and you're watching this, you need to get out of sales, become a social worker, set up a charity, open a food bank, but don't be a business." Because it's not a lot of money. £1,000 is not. £5,000 is not. The UK economy is 12 trillion.
If you're in recruitment at the minute and you want to set up your own business, right? If you spent your first year and you build 80 grand, that'd be a good first year. For a solo recruiter, that'd be a fantastic first year. Working at a big agency, you'd be on a performance improvement plan and probably be out the door by like the next week. But that's great. £800 is 1% of that.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Look, if you can't control your own life, you're never going to control the sale. And it's all about control.
Yeah.
So, look, if you're watching this and you know you've got the abilities and the skills and you're willing to fail, you have to be willing to crash and burn. Yeah? And ask yourself this, what is the worst case scenario? This is what I did. I said to my wife, I'm going out on my own, what is the worst case scenario? And the worst case scenario, we won't be homeless. It's Britain. In the 21st century, you cannot, unless you go out of your way to fall through the cracks, society will help you. And Labour's going to win the next election, so you're all going to have a free house anyway, right? So, the worst thing that could possibly happen is you go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're starting from a position of zero, you're right back where you started.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're willing to risk bankruptcy for a greater good, then do it. Now I was willing to lose it all. I didn't have anything. So take the risk. I'll tell you what will happen though, the more you build, the more you have, the less risk you'll take. And we were discussing that before the show. I've done well out of this and I take less risk because I'm scared of losing what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Do it now when you got nothing. And just go out there and do it.
That's a great message to finish on.
Yeah,
on that bombshell.
Buy my stuff!
Buy his stuff. This has been really cool, man.
Real pleasure.
Thank you. Oh, that was good.
Oh, I can move my leg. It was starting to die on me. Oh! You enjoyed that?
Halfway through, and I was like, did I press record on the camera?
Oh.
And I did, yeah. The whole time I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that would have been.
And I was like,